Mark, why don't you kick us off? Just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're working on these days.
Excellent. Mark Douglas, thank you for the opportunity. Big believer in BizWorld. Born and raised in the United States, California, one of five. My father ran a Catholic bookstore. I academically undergraduate attended UCLA in Southern California, business school at UC Berkeley. I've been in the financial services with Morgan Stanley as a managing director for the last 35 years.
Wow, with Morgan Stanley for the last 35 years. What an honor.
And we being located here in Silicon Valley, our niche, our client focus tends to be serial entrepreneurs, founders, corporate executives, many of whom quite often have had some connectivity to Morgan Stanley. There's been a liquidity event, be it either through an initial public offering and or merger and acquisition, such that they have big balance sheets. But what's interesting is not only are they interested on the quantitative side, but also qualitative, one of which is the philanthropic side, which is always good to see.
It is always great to see, right? Where when serial
Mm,
entrepreneurs are actually giving back, are involved with
no
the
question.
philanthropic side.
Yep.
That is absolutely the goal. Mark, how did you
Yep.
originally get introduced and involved with BizWorld?
I have a peer friend of mine, Eric Down. He originally was involved prior to myself. He then introduced me to Amparo. We had a conversation. She asked me at that point then to be a mentor, to be involved with helping mentor, work with many of the individuals in the program, and I found it very inspiring.
Wonderful. How long ago was that?
Wayne, good question. I want to say that had to be at least 3 years ago. I'm not exact, but
3 years.
a few years ago.
Okay, nice. You've been a mentor, a judge. Without supporters like you, we really can't provide all the education and support to the young entrepreneurs.
Yep.
So
It's a
thank
great
you
cause.
so much. So most recently, what was your involvement with BizWorld?
Recently, it was as a judge where they had
Mm.
the young entrepreneurs making pitches with respect to the hope of getting some funding. And as one of the judges, I don't recall how many, it was a diverse group. Some came from marketing, some came from finance, some came from the private equity world. It allowed us to provide a good, objective opinion and provide feedback questions to these young entrepreneurs' business plans. And they were fascinating.
Fascinating. I like it. Does any specific pitch or interaction with the young entrepreneur stick out to you?
To be 100% objective, they all stood out to me. Even though there were some, and as judged by the judges, we had a ranking, and some ranked better than others, just based upon either the content, the presentation skills. There was a number of variables, but they were all very good.
Yeah, wonderful to hear. Wonderful. Mark, you clearly are involved with a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of philanthropy. What's
Mhm.
the reason that you choose to invest your time and resources into supporting BizWorld and the YES program?
So when I evaluate philanthropic entities, organizations, not to sound corny, but there are three I's: inspiration, infrastructure, and interest. On the I interest, I would say Tim Draper, who I've known for quite a while, big believer in and the leverage from further together. To me, that's inspirational. To what it's great to have an inspiration, but if you don't have the infrastructure behind it to help organize, to help process, etc., the infrastructure that BizWorld team has, be it with Melissa Doppler, be it with Amparo Pino, is fabulous. So I've always found that very constructive. And then last of all, as an interest, I'm a big believer in giving back, be it as an educator, be it as a mentor, be it as a business coach, be it as a donor. I've been fortunate in my life, and I think it's imperative that we, in turn, just from a society standpoint, are always willing, whatever our cause is, to give back accordingly.
Mhm.
And I found BizWorld to be one of the organizations that I'm happy to do that with.
Wonderful. We appreciate it. I love those three I's you just mentioned: inspiration, infrastructure, and then interest. So it
Yep.
sounds like if those three things align, that is then your North Star, dare I say.
It is. And as we all know, we all have only so much bandwidth on the philanthropic side, be it to give sweat equity, to give donor dollars. So I try and evaluate and focus on a few where in turn I'm a believer. It's given me the inspiration and I can make a larger impact versus just a shotgun spreading it all over the board.
Yeah. Said. You can make a much larger impact instead of just going the shotgun approach.
Yep.
How would you say supporting BizWorld aligns with your own personal values and your vision for the future?
If you take a look at the individuals involved, I think growing up, no matter what decade, it has challenges. And so any
Mhm.
opportunity that we have to help guide the adolescents toward their passion is gratifying. Myself, as mentioned, I was one of five. My father ran a Catholic bookstore. I'm the only one of my siblings who actually attended college. I was self-made, put myself through college, was fortunate to be located here, but I was a boots up, scrappy, somewhat entrepreneur on my own. So in turn, I really have a passion when I see just the energy with some of these young entrepreneurs and just the idea generation. It's fabulous. I'm jealous. I wish I had that when I was that young,
I feel the exact same way. I'm just so happy
you
to be a
know?
little bit involved with it
Right.
now, but absolutely. Mark, a lot of mentors and judges end up telling us that they feel they get out of the program more even than the students do. What makes you think, or why do they say that in the first place?
Well, I think in the concept of when you give back, obviously the output, if it's gratifying, and I think that their feedback is it is very gratifying. One, two, it's very inspirational to see just the intellectual capital, the idea formation, the business plan development, and our ability to help them through the process. It's gratifying.
Yeah. Yeah. It's super gratifying. So most recently with the pitch day that you were the judge for, I know you said
Yes.
that all of the businesses were really exciting and impactful. Was there a moment or maybe a story that really stuck with you, something that sort of inspired you personally?
You keep coming back to that. I would say that each of the participants on their own merit had, I thought, very thoughtful concepts. They had developed and organized a roadmap business plan to help develop that strategy. I
Mm,
found them all, and not to hedge or be evasive, I
yeah.
found all of them inspirational.
Yeah. Okay, great. They're really exciting, right? I've had the privilege to speak with a lot of these young entrepreneurs as well,
Right.
and they're doing some really exciting things that's going to move the future, going to make the future.
Wayne, what I would say is I also loved the diversity of ideas, be it from environmental footballs, be it from the life science medical technology, be it from a marketing, wearing the backpack with sponsorship. It was all over the board. So in a sense, to your point earlier, I love there's certain areas, concepts I had not even thought about. And being in Silicon Valley, I advise clients on investments. I make a lot of personal investments, direct, et cetera. Some of these I was almost like, wow, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I might need to talk to them afterwards and invest personally.
Exactly.
That's exciting.
Yep.
Mark, we're lucky that a lot of young entrepreneurs end up listening to some of these types of videos. What advice would you give to just a young person with aspirations of becoming an entrepreneur?
How would I advise them? I think it really depends upon the profile of the individual. Meaning to advise an individual who was born and raised here in Silicon Valley from wealthy
Mm,
parents is different per se than someone who comes from maybe not as well off socioeconomically. So different profile,
sure.
but at the same token, I would indicate follow your passion. Number
Mhm,
one. Number two, try and find mentors and or advisors that can help you objectively evaluate the concept, help you think through the barriers to entry, think through what the real size of the market, what the competitive landscape is, because rightfully, wrongfully, your mentor not only provides intellectual capital, but perspective, meaning they probably have been
mhm,
there, done it over a few different market cycles. And they've seen how certain projects, even though very inspirational, failed because of either a lack of business plan, lack of cap, whatever it may be. So talk to the mentors, get positive, objective feedback, talk to other successful students who've come out of the program from a peer-to-peer networking basis to find out what worked for them, why it worked, why it didn't work, et cetera. So the more either guidance through mentor, peer-to-peer networking,
mhm.
contacting, even though you at the very early age, you be it yourself, your friends, your parents' network of private equity professionals, the more you can absorb information and just get perspective, the better. But follow your
I
passion.
love that. Follow your passion. So the advice, if you, of course, you need to make sure you understand who the young person is first.
I think so.
But the ideas of follow your passion, find mentors, find a community of individuals that have done it successfully,
I think so.
Are these ways that you might actually describe BizWorld and the YES program as well?
I would. In my understanding and my experience, that's been the whole concept. It's to Tim Draper's credit, it's kind of a boot camp. It's a boot
Mm,
camp where you immerse yourself. There's plenty of opportunity for peer-to-peer sharing, for networking, idea generation. So it's a great idea, and hopefully it becomes more global.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're actually excited. Maybe you didn't know that. So there's a BizWorld UK and UAE
Yep.
program, as well as in China, Asia, and then we're hoping that Canada this year will take off as
Interesting.
well.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Mark, I'm curious, why do you think that maybe a young person should take a chance on a business accelerator or a program like Yes, if they have a dream of starting a business or not?
Again, you can have the inspiration,
Mm,
but can you execute, implement on that with a knowledgeable, informed business plan which understands the market, how you're going to attack that market, how you are going to be successful, what the financial requirements are in order to be successful, who you surround yourself with, because you don't necessarily only want to be an individual contractor, but you want a team. And I think BizWorld provides a number of opportunities, not only as mentioned, for mentorship, for coaching, for networking, etc.
yeah, absolutely. Do you think a program like this could be beneficial to somebody that maybe doesn't even want to be an entrepreneur?
Very much because it as much can be for career guidance.
Career guidance.
In the context of BizWorld, with if you think about the diversity of young entrepreneurs, not only geographically, but by age, but by gender, but be it by geography, etc., there's a huge opportunity for young individuals who don't really know, like personally, out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted, Wayne. And I would have loved to have had the opportunity to, in essence, have an ecosystem that I could go into to help me identify areas that I thought I may have an interest in, areas that in turn I found out I did not. Find out, for example, we all know now AI is changing a lot of different things and it's going to impact a lot of different industries, a lot of intermediaries, service organizations. So to identify, not looking in the rearview mirror, but the next 5 to 10 year where opportunities exist, BizWorld could be to me, could be a great resource.
Yeah. Said it's easily put as career guidance. Also, out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So being able to
Yeah.
explore and I think entrepreneurship, or I guess, how do you think entrepreneurship might aid in teaching life skills to young people?
Again, depending upon the profile of the
Mm,
audience that we're
yeah,
talking to. But if you think about it, entrepreneurship is one, self-guidance, motivation, self-determination, networking, intellectual development with respect to an opportunity, how you were going to go after that opportunity. So there are so many different both personal and practical skill sets that come from the entrepreneurial side because you're not just a processor working in a company, you're at the front end developing
yeah,
the company,
yeah.
if that makes
Beautiful.
sense.
No, that makes perfect sense to me. You're not just an operator, you're actually on the front end. And so you're having to develop all of these
No
different skill
question.
sets that you said
No
that
question.
entrepreneurship actually brings
Right.
out. Amazing. Let's see, based on your experience with Yes, if you could sum it up in one sentence, what is the BizWorld Yes program?
Great question. I still would come back to helping guide young entrepreneur adolescents with their career roadmap,
Helping guide young entrepreneur, what adolescents with their career roadmap.
with their career roadmap.
Beautiful.
But it may not be the only career, but they've taken one initiative with respect to one entrepreneurial activity. But as you and I discussed earlier, that activity
Mhm.
encompasses so many different facets in running a business. So it's a great development program, a great philanthropic as well as mentorship program.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Mark, how might a young person know? Of course, once again, we need to be specific on who we're talking
Right.
to,
You do.
but how might they know whether they should pursue entrepreneurship or not?
Different DNA, different profiles. Like in my business, you have hunters, you have farmers. Hunters are the one who are going out to try and source new business. The farmers are the one who are processing the business. So A, you have to determine what your DNA profile is. We have as well, the profile, you have to be a self-starter. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you have to believe in yourself, be a self-starter, know how to, in essence, think through the concept and then the practical implementation of how you're going to put that concept to work. Different personality, different profile. Not all folks are bred for it.
Great analogy there with the hunters and the farmers. Would that be an entrepreneurship or business in general? Then
Right.
the key there as well is be a self-starter. That's going
You
to make
have
a
to be.
huge difference.
You have to.
You have to be. Mark, thank you again so much for being an amazing supporter with your time, so generous. Why do you believe maybe that somebody out there that's listening, another entrepreneur already or a business professional, why should they support BizWorld in the Yes program, whether it be with their time or donations?
The three I's: inspiration, infrastructure, and interest. And then the last interest is, I know we all have philanthropic budgets. We should just think about including BizWorld as part of that budget.
Beautiful. Mark, I appreciate it, man. Went through those super quickly. Any last thoughts for me, maybe that I didn't ask
No,
about?
I just kudos to Tim for the inspiration, putting it together. Kudos to the team, Melissa and Amparo, fabulous teammates. Kudos to all the other judges, Eric Down, who was helpful in getting me involved. As we all know, it takes a village. BizWorld's a great village.